welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists, creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy.
Ben Noble and Chris Bartels, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And Bill Underwood is here as well, along with Olivia. So glad you both are here too. You gents posted a spectacular video a couple of days ago that we have really enjoyed, that kind of showed that you have found all the places. We really enjoyed seeing that through your eyes. How has this place held you in your work this week?
It's been awesome. Yeah.
I would say for me, it's just been a really nice time of, I guess, just taking care of my soul. And just because so much of creativity is, and like we've talked about it before, just like, okay, you kind of have manager mode, you have to do your tasks, you have to do all the different stuff that you have to do to make the art, but then like none of that really works if your spirit's not there, and if your soul's not taken care of, and Chris and I, like, we've both been writing music forever. Like we've kind of gotten to the point where we can just write completely uninspired and just find ways to be inspired. But I've definitely found that if I take care of myself, then the art will follow. And yeah, like it's just, yeah, if I can get to a place where, like, I guess I would just say that writing, in the process of writing, is always happening. And maybe you're actually writing, or maybe you're just feeling and experiencing, and somewhere in your brain it's all getting lodged in there, or somewhere in your body it's getting lodged in there, to then when you sit down to start writing, or maybe it's even like 2-3 months, maybe it's 2 years down the road, like then all of a sudden your mind or something will click, and then it's like, okay, here's all that stuff, you know. So yeah, it's kind of been, at least for me, it's been a lot of that, but then also like taking a break from that and being like, I'm just gonna work on music right now. And so yeah, we started so many new ideas and like new things for probably a whole new album. You know, we shot a whole music video. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
For sure. Yeah. No, I can definitely like relate with what Ben's saying in that, like, well, I mean, I know for me, like, I came into it, I was pretty confident it'd be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
going to a barn
Yeah.
for the week with space and time.
And me. Just kidding.
And Ben.
He's waiting.
Well, like,
Ben is waiting. Like, come on, give it to him.
Actually, it's funny. Like, I was telling a friend a few days before. I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this for the week." Oh, wow! And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going with my friend Ben." He's like, he goes, "I hope you like this, Ben." I was like, "Yeah, I do. I do." We've spent some time together, and we creatively work really well together. So, but
This Ben I like.
yeah, this Ben.
Not all
Yeah.
Bens.
Yeah. Not all the Bens.
We'll get to that other Ben in just a second.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we'll see how much we have to edit out about the other Ben, you know. It's funny, my best friend growing up from day one named Ben.
Also Ben.
I also like that Ben. Anyways, move on from the Bens. No, I actually, yeah, like I was really confident it'd be awesome. I didn't like have a ton of expectations with it, as far as what it would look like or how much we have to get done or whatever, you know. But there's definitely like, for me at least, like at times for something like this, or like getting away from the family, there's kind of like a internal pressure, which is, I don't mean pressure in a bad way. Like I kind of like this drive and the pressure. I'm away from being dad, you know, so I'm gonna like just work my ass off, you know, because of that, you know, and it's like, and I like that pressure, but it's funny because it's like, it's also that balance where it's like, if I'm just go, be productive, you know, it actually like I can definitely like lean too much towards that, and then like the creativity is like either doesn't come or it's just like I'm trying to like rough it or like pull it out of somewhere. Whereas like, okay, breathe, like give it some space. Like you're here, chill, go take a walk on the, and like kind of choosing that aspect, then that always brings back the creativity. And then I do get a lot of stuff done and all of the things. And that's kind of what happened this week, which is great. Cause like, Ben's probably I feel like you're a little bit better at me than in that regard of like being intentional. I don't know if that's fair. Intentional of like giving some space and like not always worrying about like being productive or like getting stuff done, though you are productive and though you do get a lot of stuff and though you are like super hard work. So like to have that balance of like, really such a cool place and opportunity to do that. Find that
Try
balance.
it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ben, you mentioned something earlier about being in like high manager mode. And my friend Kate read this book, and I wish that I was able to attribute to the book, but she said one of the things she learned is the difference between manager time and creative time.
Yep.
And that manager time is what we're in most of the time, where it's just meeting. Everything is just like blocked off.
Yep.
I've worked for years in the agencies as a designer and creative, and we had to create in that way too. I have a half-hour window, go be creative, and then come back and then do the meetings and do the thing, and then, and hopefully you piece together something that is creative and cohesive, and you kind of figure out how to push it and turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
Her point is that manager time and creative time are different. That's really good for getting the stuff done in the meetings and the team and the rest. And creative time has to be expansive.
Yep.
Book out an entire morning or book out an entire day, because that's how creativity happens, that you have to give it space to take a breath and let the inspiration come and not push it so hard. But when the floodgates open, they do totally open.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, especially just because so many creatives nowadays, like they're doing the creating and they're doing so much of the management, like all themselves. Like, you do have to like internally justify, like, I'm going to spend a whole day not with much of an agenda. Like, it feels like a sacrifice, but at least, generally every time it's worth it.
It's an interesting question. What does productivity actually look like?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
I think a lot of people come in with that attitude of, I'm just going to see where it goes. And almost every single time people leave with you wouldn't believe what I did this week.
Yeah.
And not to say that, again, productivity equals value, but I think when they come into this experience, giving themselves that grace, that grace pays back in dividends.
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely. There's like a it's maybe not the right word, but there's like a permission, like you're here for the week to like just take your time, and then that leads to like some special creative things. I think that's what.
Yeah, and even just
happens.
being in a new space, you get new ideas. You think of things that you wouldn't have thought. Like we were reading some of those from some of the books in the library, and like some of the poetry, and it's like, I wouldn't be reading this if I wasn't here. But then I mean, also like when we were shooting the music video, and like last night, it was probably like 11 p.m. We were in the barn, and we're like shining flashlights like at the camera, and there's like moths flying around, and like just some cool dust, and like just some really cool looking effect stuff that like
accidental, basically.
Totally accidental. But I don't know, it's just there, and definitely something that Chris and I have.
We broke the quiet hours because we were so excited about it. So.
But
apologies.
I feel like just as a creative, like the people that I know that are the most quote unquote productive are the ones that they just say, or they just trust the process, and they say, I'm gonna go here, do this, or I'm gonna meet with this person, or I'm gonna try out this idea, and you're not like I think of it if it's like a you look up in the sky and you see all the stars, and it's like, I want to build a rocket ship and I want to go to that star, that particular one. Like, so there's just so much more calculation that goes into that. But if you're just like, I want to build a rocket ship to go up into space to go to a star, you know, like not necessarily having a destination, but being like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to enjoy the ride in the rocket ship, and you know, I'll just trust that once I get up there, we'll figure it out, you know?
There'll be stardust.
Yeah. So I feel like, with creating and stuff, especially, just with how Chris and I operate, we don't necessarily know what we're looking for. We're just going to do it. And then there's the moment where it clicks and it's like, that's it. This is sweet. And then it makes more sense from there.
Yeah.
Lots of cool things have happened in this barn. But you've now mentioned a music video twice, so I feel like we got to go there.
Okay.
You shot a video last night, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to get more.
Yeah.
So we have an album coming out under Glass Echoes. That's our duo kind of main creative project together. So that's most of what we wrote here is Glass Echoes ideas and songs.
Yep.
So we have an album coming out, our second full-length album coming out this fall sometime. We were planning September, but might push it back.
Looking more like October.
we gotta edit this music video nice. So anyways, so it's for the title track of that album called The Skirmishers, which Ben came up with, and he wrote the lyrics to this particular title track and is the singer on this track. And it's kind of like so we started that song, you came over, and then so we collaborate remotely quite a bit, just in our own home studios, but we also try to get together as much as we can. And man, when we're together, it's like that's when the real weirdness,
just crazy
fun happens with our music. So that's definitely this song. You just brought some synths and pedals and it's plugged into my system. I was doing whatever, sampling our old stuff, and it was just getting wild. You have to hear this, so we're like, let's do a music video for that. I just had a very basic idea about let's do something with this is my brain. I was like, The Skirmishers. It's kind of a trippy song. There's like big intense parts, and then there's like really like slow quiet verse parts. It like brings it way down and back up. So I'm like, slow motion stuff with the farm during the verses with him singing. So we got that footage, and then I was like, let's just do like weird blurry close up glitchy shots, and I'll do lots of cuts, and so there'll be a lot of work in post with it. But then, so what we're doing last night in the barn was a lot of the we did some during like golden hour, looks really good, and then we're like, let's come back when it's dark. Brought my flashlight and the camera, closed the doors, and then turned off the lights. So it was like pitch black, right? And we're just doing this with a flashlight, waving the flashlight around, and so it looks kind of creepy and weird and crazy. And then experimenting with like putting the flashlight down on the lens, and there's this crazy like dust. That's what bouquet with the moths thing. We'll have to show you, but that's what Ben was talking about. So anyways.
It looks way more high budget than zero budget.
So we filmed kind of all over, right? I mean, we did some inside.
We went.
Started at the house, the old original house.
And then kind of just, followed whatever looked interesting, kind of came up. We used the mirror by the outhouse. Did some cool, just some cool like refractions. And
so we're just like, I had that very basic concept, basically what I said about like weird, glitchy, stressful faces during the big parts, and then some slow-mo stuff. There's no there's no like specific narrative or story, but
there could be.
We'd just do just hitting record on the video on the camera, and just like, okay, I'm gonna play with walking around the silo or with the mirror and doing like weird things with that. We're just like literally just walking around like, oh, let's try this, and then Ben thinks of something, let's try this, and then we found a little glow decor thing, and we did blended that with shots or something. So there will be a narrative. We just don't know yet. It's gonna come.
It sounds like a skirmish.
It is definitely a skirmish.
Boy, you got that right.
We were skirmishing. We were real skirmishers. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the teaser of the music video.
It'll either be really epic or it won't be epic, and we just won't release it. But it'll probably be epic.
It'll be awesome.
It'll be fun, whatever it is.
It will.
Yeah.
What a gift that is to find a creative partner that you can play like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I said that last night, didn't I? Like,
I feel like we were, because I mean, we've both, like with music, we kind of just do like the same stuff all day in our home studios. But then even with like music videos, like we've both shot so many ourselves that like Chris doesn't need to try to explain why he wants me to do something.
Well, no, I literally said like, try this, and just in a, doing whatever the shot was, I forget what, stand like this behind the pole, whatever it was. In and of itself, it just sounds so stupid, and like
just
what a dumb
by
idea.
itself, it looks pretty stupid.
But I said do that, and then I had the thought, and I said this to Ben. I was like, I'm glad that like I don't have to like give a disclaimer. Like you get it that it's like in a bubble it feels stupid,
but
when we mess around, it's gonna work.
It's in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And then like if we're collaborating in the studio, like same thing. Like here, just do this. Like we don't have to just explain why we're doing. Like there's just so much communication that doesn't need to happen. Like because it's kind of in both of our natures at this point to know what we're doing.
You can just say yes.
Yeah. It's just fun.
Or maybe we just know how easy it is to delete something that looks stupid. Like,
That's true. That's
true.
Command Z. Undo.
Gone. Nobody has to see it, But
That's right.
yeah.
We're just playing games.
We're just playing games.
I'm wondering, Ben, earlier you talked about self-care, really.
Yep.
Nurturing your soul and yourself. What did that look like for you?
Here.
Yeah, definitely going on walks, hiking all the trails. So beautiful. So nice to just see deer and see, I don't know, just, it's like, oh yeah, there's so much about living in the world that is not just like industrial and sidewalks and, it's just like all of this just this forest, like this is kind of how things actually are, and we just kind of force our way onto that generally. But then you guys had the guided meditation, and so I did that yesterday, and just to be out there and just kind of like sitting and looking around and like feeling the wind on my face and just thinking about I don't know, just a lot of the different phrases and meditations that were part of that. It was just like, oh yeah, I gotta be doing this work on myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then even like self-care in the form of I brought my slack line, and if people don't know what a slack line is, it's a rope, essentially a rope you tie between two trees, and then you just walk on it, and it's like
Like a tightrope?
Pretty much, yeah. There's like literally no point in doing it other than to just do it and be up there, and I'm just here. So I feel like if we have activities like that where it's especially as productively minded individuals, creatively minded individuals, like me being out there, me going on all this, like it does nothing for anybody. So maybe that's okay. Maybe just reconnecting with my heart, and just remembering what it's like to just be like, okay, I'm here, I'm me, I'm in my body, and I don't know. It was very, very lovely.
I'm glad you got that time.
Yeah.
I have to make an executive decision here. We're on a farm. And as things happen, tractors and mowers and all the rest, our mowers just showed up, and it is about to be quite loud. So maybe we bring this to a close before we can't hear each other.
Yep.
And just say it's been joyful watching your videos and hearing your music, and thank you for saying yes. And we hope you please stay in touch and let us know how your artwork meets the world.
Are you seriously not going to end with the traditional question?
I was going to say, you have to end with the question.
I mean, Livia's
You
like
can give
shaking
30
right
second
Still in
rapid
the
fire.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.